call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular scheduled council meeting of October 28, 2025 in the Linder Hart Loft Chambers at Fort Clinton City Hall. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent reflection for those protecting us during our
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Gilman. Present. Margaret Phillips.
Present.
Richard Morgan.
I am here.
Avery Robinson. Pat Hovis. Here. Jerry Trolley.
Here.
Kathy King. Here.
Thank you. Council, you previously received the October 14, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam President, I move for approval of the minutes from those meetings.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Trolley for the approval of October 14, 2025 regular meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Motion carried. The chair notes the certification has been made with compliance of the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation. Public comment?
Shannon Schliff. Now.
Yes, ma'am. You can just speak.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
I think I'm gonna pass out. I apologize.
Sit down if you will.
Okay.
Thank you.
So a little backstory about how I came to be here tonight. At the beginning of summer, I began putting up a small fence. And then I got a letter from the city asking me where my permit was. And so I immediately went and I filled out my paperwork and I paid my fine. And I had a meeting and thankfully I got to keep my fence. And while at this meeting, I was informed that my neighbors had begun the paperwork to vacate the alley in my neighborhood. And I wasn't really surprised that they were attempting to vacate, since I knew that at some point they wanted to build a garage or a pole barn or something over there. And in order to do that, they'd have to change zoning in the neighborhood. And so instead, they filed to vacate the alley. And honestly, kudos for figuring out how to circumvent city zoning. But what I was surprised by was that no one was informed that this was happening. And had I not been to this meeting over my fence, no one would have ever known. And I would have come home one day and the alley would have been gated off. And I'm shocked that such a huge change to the neighborhood could be facilitated without anyone ever being informed, simply because my neighbor owned both sides. I'm concerned about my property value. I'm concerned that he has already chain link fenced the entire area, and if the alley is vacated, can build a pole barn that could eclipse my home. I never really cared about his RV or the cars that were parked there, and honestly, up until the summer, we had a good neighborly relationship. But at this point, it's like, what is next? So I contacted my city councilman, and that was referred to Mr. Morgan, who came and spoke with me, and he did some looking into the alley being closed for me, and he honestly sympathized with us, but essentially said our neighbors had the right because they owned both sides of the property. It is unfathomable to me that an alley that is used by so many can be closed by just one. And so I spoke with Mayor Snyder, who explained in great detail, thank you, Mr. Snyder, detailed how the alleys were outdated, how they were not meant to be used by pedestrians, and that I had other ways to access the back of my property. But the end reason, and by far the biggest as far as I'm concerned, was that the city could not afford to maintain them. And to me, that's a poor excuse. To tell me that I could close the alley behind my house when I share it with 2 other homes, honestly, is ridiculous. I was informed that alleys were not meant to be used as thoroughways. And let's be honest, who here has not used an alley to get somewhere that wasn't their own home? And furthermore, I can't begin to understand how the city is so willing to give public property away. And yes, I was informed of the extra property taxes and the saving on maintaining the alley, but at the end of the day, you're giving city property away because you don't want to maintain it. I did a little research on alleys, and I did a little research on their history and how towns are using them to their advantage, not to their disadvantage. Alleys are a quintessential part of living in a small town. If you've ever lived in town, you know that people access them so they can get home quicker. Kids use them to walk home. They use them to play off the streets. People ride their bikes. They walk their dogs. They use them as shortcuts. And unfortunately, sometimes in this city, the alley is nicer than the streets. But alleys also become useful when street work is finally being done. And I cannot thank you all enough for that. I would understand if this alley dead-ended, or even if my neighbors were the only ones to use it, but that simply isn't true. Instead of trying to get rid of alleys, the city should start embracing them. When I first moved to my home, trash was picked up on that alley. It created less wear and tear on the roads that we as taxpayers are looking so forward to having replaced, especially my own. The city should look into green alley programs that help with stormwater. My basement flooded twice, both with city sewer backup. Alleys allow for designated corridors for utilities, access to these utilities. They're still used for deliveries, but instead of milk these days, it's Amazon, it's FedEx, it's DoorDash, it's Walmart. Instead of looking to be rid of them, embrace them, especially in our downtown area, as other small towns have done. And I understand all these things. They take money, they take time, they take planning. But all of those things seem more feasible than the habit of vacating all the town's alleys. I cannot imagine vacating my own alley. My neighbors coming home to find out that they no longer could access from anywhere but Adams Street. I'm not even sure he could access his garage if I thought to do that. I feel this sets a bad precedent to welcome people to to attempt to vacate their alley, and creates problems with blocking portions of alleys, as Mr. Snyder suggested to me about my own alley. Listen, I love my house, and I love my neighborhood. I moved there for a reason. I have great neighbors. I have lived in my home for 22 years, and I tolerated a house that looked condemned and a vacant house that had squatters living in it, because I assumed the city would take care of it. But this summer I learned that you guys can't help me if I don't ask. And everyone I encountered this summer has been nothing but helpful and nothing but kind to me. Literally, every one of you that I contacted that came back to me were so nice and so kind. And while I have no desire to become the squeaky wheel of my neighborhood, I will at least know when a problem arises that I need to call if I want some help. And I get that this little speech may or may not change any of your minds. Since the posts to put up the gates, they've already been installed. But I learned that when you say nothing, that is exactly what happens. Nothing. This is a case of just because he did everything right does not mean what he is doing is the right thing. So I guess I'm asking for you to kindly consider not to close this alley for one person. Please leave it as is for the many that use it regularly. I'm asking you, would you want this to happen in your neighborhood? Would you, after having 2 houses come down on each side of you, want this happening next to you? Don't disrupt this neighborhood for one person, and don't take away the things that make a small town, and not suffer, and not the country. Thank you all so much for your time, and again, to everyone who helped me this summer, I sincerely appreciate you. Your job is difficult, but you do make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no idea what the last one was.
That's me? Okay.
So the Daniel,
Macheski.
thank you, at 711 East 2nd Street.
Do you mind if I use the podium?
Yeah, that's right.
He's braver than me.
I want to say all right.
By the way.
Good evening, Mayor Snyder, council members, city staff, and neighbors. My name is Daniel Macheski, and I live at 711 East 2nd Street. I'm here on behalf of my in-laws, Jared and Shannon Schlitt, and the other residents who would be negatively impacted by tonight's proposed ordinance. Under Ohio Revised Code 723-01, the legislative authority of our city has care, supervision, and control of its streets, its alleys, and its public thoroughfares. But when a municipality seeks to vacate an alley or a street, Ohio Revised Code 723.05 allows it to do so only if the council can find both good cause and that the vacation will not be detrimental to the general interest of the municipality or of its residents. Ohio courts have consistently reinforced the standard. In Eastland Woods versus Talmadge, 1983, the Ohio Supreme Court held that a city may vacate a public right-of-way only when it clearly serves the public interest. Likewise, in Smith versus Wintersville, 1962, the Ohio 7th District Court of Appeals affirmed that such decisions must not be made for the private convenience alone. Those rulings underscore that the council's duty is to protect the community's general welfare, not private gain. In this case, neither condition is met. The sole purpose of this closure is to enable one person's private gain. This alley closure is not being requested for the public good, like improved traffic flow, safety, or infrastructure. It's being requested to enable a private construction project that conflicts with the city's zoning intent. That may serve one person's interests, but it does not serve the public or the broader community. The petitioner owns both parcels on either side of this public alley. However, owning both sides does not make the alley private property. It merely allows the ability to petition this council. The alley itself remains a public right-of-way held in trust for all residents. Council must still determine whether closing it truly serves a public purpose and must prove that it causes no harm to our community. However, in my opinion, the harm is clear. We have an elimination of a long-standing right-of-way, loss of neighborhood access, potential for diminished privacy and property value for adjacent homes, and most importantly to me, the loss of safe and convenient rear yard access for my disabled father-in-law who depends on that alley for mobility. Closing this alley converts a public asset into a private benefit, contrary to the safeguard that public rights should never be relinquished unless it can be shown there will be no detriment to the wider community. Port Clinton's council has faced this challenge before. According to the city's own ordinance table, Ordinance 11-66 was proposed to vacate multiple alleys in a portion of Jackson Street. It was defeated by referendum on May 24, 1966. Residents at the time recognized that such closures served private convenience rather than the public interest. This sentiment was true then and is true today. Beyond just the law, consider this from an ethical lens. Under the principle of utilitarianism, which is seeking the greatest good for the greatest number, the council must favor that benefits the broader community, not a single property owner. No broad public advantage arises from closing this alley. Only loss to many and gain to one. We are setting a terrible precedent by removing a public asset for the benefit of one individual. For these reasons, I respectfully ask council to deny the proposed alley vacation, or at the very least, table it and direct an independent review of access, disability accommodation, traffic pattern analysis, property value impact, and utility considerations to ensure that the general interest of all Port Clinton residents is fully protected. I just want to thank you for your time and for your continued service to our city. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to working with each of you to keep Port Clinton a community that values fairness, accessibility, and a shared public good.
Thank you.
Madam President, I want to ask something.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, that's okay, I won't.
I'm sorry, but I can't read what you wrote.
You're good, I scribbled it, I apologize.
Your name,
My name's Eric Lupel.
1111 Lee Avenue. Thank you.
I'll be honest, I came here kind of right off the practice field, so I apologize for my attire. I see Mike shaking his head over there. And,
Let's get it.
there you go. I'm the head football coach in town. My daughter, I appreciate that, thank you. My daughter started a petition late last night, I believe it was, for the Halloween thing. And it blew up a little bit. I was proud of her for standing up for what she believed in. And I'm here, I guess, first and foremost, to give a little speech to introduce her. I was typing up some notes real quick right there about kind of my beliefs in this. I am from 1111, somebody just read that. I understand you guys have difficult decisions, and I appreciate that. In fact, I think when my wife told me that Mayor Mike Snyder posted something, I accidentally butt dialed him thanks to my Apple Watch or whatever it was, and then he called me back. So I apologize about that. And then I was on the practice field when you called, so all that kind of rambled on. I took this job with a vision of building something to impact our youth both at the high school level and at the youth level. And I think part of that in building a program that you guys and that our community is proud of is getting our youth there. And what better opportunity than to make the playoffs, to build a product that they are proud of, than to have the opportunity to be there. I know that, my 4 kids, did we lock the other one in the car? Is that what we did? I don't know where my son is. He might be over there in the police station for all I know right now. But anyways, my 4 kids are stuck in a tough decision, and as a parent, I'm here mostly to support my daughter, but also as a head football coach to say I'm really proud of what our kids were able to do this year. I'm a little disappointed with the decision that was made, and that my family is now torn on what to do and what the right thing to do is. And then I also, as a father, to say I'm proud of my daughter for standing up for what she believes in. I think she has a little speech prepared. Would you like to go ahead, Ashton?
I want Halloween State to change things so that other families might enjoy Halloween and trick-or-treating along with supporting the football team in the playoffs. 2/3 of my grade signed this paper.
Wow.
And it's just my grade. Most of my friends say that they're the ones who convince their parents to go to the football games. And over 315 people have signed my online petition in less than 1 day.
So again, as a head football coach, I'm proud of what our kids have done. I know Mike's son is a part of that program. And again, I guess finally it just kind of puts our youth in a bind. And I know as a head football coach and somebody who works closely with our athletic department, that's something that we try not to do, is make kids make choices. And unfortunately, the OHSAA won't move things. They never have and never will. And I know that hopefully this entity has the opportunity to do so. But again, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
We're going to move on to executive officers' reports. The next regular scheduled council meeting is on November 11th, which is a holiday, and City Hall is closed. So that meeting will be moved to the Monday before, November 10th, 2023, at 6 p.m. here in Chambers. And if the clerk will please do the proper notifications, I'd appreciate that. Then there are 2 new ordinances. Ordinance 29-25 will not be assigned to a committee and can go on for the full 3 reads. Ordinance 30-25, administration has asked that it be passed on its 2nd reading. I believe Ms. Schenker will talk about that, and Ms. Bryant will possibly be at the next meeting to explain further, and that will not be assigned to a committee. And that is all I have. Mayor Snyder?
Thank you, Madam President. I gave up my chair. I'm sitting on the floor. There's no way I'm getting up at the moment. Members of council, good to see you again. I want to thank Magruder Hospital. They have donated the Christmas tree that will be placed at the intersection of Madison and Perry this holiday season. For those of you that are interested, if you drive east on 7th Street and don't stop at the stop sign, drive over the curb, you'll hit it. If you come out of the door by either the cafeteria or gift shop, it's right there as well, blocking the Magruder Hospital sign. That Christmas tree will be lit the same night as Sip and Shop, which is Saturday, November 22nd at 6 p.m. Again, Saturday, November 22nd at 6 p.m. And then if you didn't get enough Christmas tree lighting, you also have the opportunity on December 6th. That is when the holiday parade will take place downtown, starting at the old community market, working its way down 2nd Street to Adams Street Park. The parade is at 6 o'clock. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be in that parade, as well as other folks organized by the Chamber of Commerce, within the tree lighting to follow the parade. I know it's not even Halloween yet, but the Santa House. Santa will be in town on Wednesdays and Sundays in December. Wednesday, December 11th and 17th, from 5 to 6 p.m. And on Sunday, December 7th and 14th, from noon to 1. Those times will be posted on the city's Facebook page as we get closer to that date. Council members and any city employees listening on the internet, the city has signed up to ring the Salvation Army bell at the Friendship Food Store at Perry and Fulton on Thursday, December 11th. Thursday, December 11th.
Mr. Mayor, would they be Perry and Buckeye?
Yeah, what did I say?
Fulton.
Oh, yeah, Perry and Buckeye. Yeah, you're right. Perry and Buckeye, we have the entire day, 10 a to 8 p. Contact Sandy and Mrs. Ostheimer at City Hall to sign up for your 2-hour shift. Quick update on Flip. There is nothing to update. As you know, everything is still in the review process. Had a conference call this morning with Kleinfelder. Mr. Nusser and I were on that call for about an hour. They can't even get a hold of anybody at the U.S. Department of Agriculture at the moment. And again, they're our big funding source. Again, as a reminder, all of that information was turned into the 5 funding sources the Friday after Labor Day weekend, with the understanding it typically takes 2 to 8 weeks to get approved. One of them came back right away. The Ohio side is still working, but the federal folks aren't out there. On that same caveat, there was a consent decree issued to the city back in the late 1900s, early O's, related to our sewage treatment plant. This is just some history for you. In 2017, all of the issues were remedied, and in 2020, this council requested the U.S. EPA drop that consent decree. They really didn't take much action with that until recently. The federal EPA, the U.S. EPA, reopened the consent decree to review to potentially drop it, and guess what happened? The shutdown. So that is out there. It's back on the table. It's hopefully something that can happen. Once that occurs, we will be coming to council with some information on doing a capacity study at the sewage treatment plant to see what we cannot accept, talk about potential expansion of the sewage treatment plant. Council, in front of you, you'll see a flyer for the Port Clinton Kiwanis Club Evening at the Races on November 14th at 6 p.m. at the Elks Lodge here in Port Clinton. We'd certainly love to have you folks there. Come see me. I have tickets for the event and so forth. Likewise, on November 14th, also at 6 p.m. is the Port Clinton Firefighters Association annual feather party. This is what did I say? Oh yeah, the 8th. I'm sorry, it's the 8th. Thank you. I'm looking at the previous month. Friday the 8th is the feather party. Doors open at 6. It's again family-oriented event, free to the community. There is a pre-event raffle, $1 each, 6 for $5. I have those tickets as well if you'd like to get some of those.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you said Friday, isn't it Saturday?
Yeah. Did I screw up everything?
What time is it? Doors open at 6.
The feather party is on Saturday, November 8th. My left leg's asleep. Give me a break, guys.
I don't know, you're sitting on your, never mind.
Crisscross applesauce here. The PC Feather Party is on Saturday, November 8th at 6 p.m. Doors open at 6. Okay. Leaf Pickup had a conversation earlier today with Lucas Johnson, the head of our service department. They'll begin picking up leaves once they start falling. There's a lot of green still out there. I had a conversation with a weatherman friend over in the Toledo area. This area is about 7 to 10 days behind because of the warm weather and the dry weather that we've had. We need a good windstorm, but not like they're getting in Puerto Rico or Jamaica, and we'll go from there. Again, they'll start to pick those up. Now, one of the issues we have, one of the issues we have this year, a few months ago, the city was contacted. Those leaves all go somewhere. And believe it or not, throughout the city, Mr. Johnson guesstimates that we could fill the parking lot up front here from Perry Street to the high-rise anywhere from 6 to 8 feet high with leaves. That's how many leaves are collected throughout the city on an annual basis. They used to go to a location on Fremont Road outside the city. That property owner used it as compost. He's out of space. So Luke's been trying to find a place or places to place these things. He's come up with a couple of different potential solutions to this. There's a gentleman on Limestone Road, Lockwood Road, that has an opening to one of the underground caverns you've heard so much about. He's shoving them in that cavern. This is kind of an appeal to the general public. If anybody has a field, a space, interested in composting, contact City Hall. We'll get you in contact with Luke Johnson if you'd like to take some leaves. Now, we're not talking, a wheelbarrow full. We're talking dump truck loads of leaves. So you need to have a substantial amount of property to help us out and go from there. Finally tonight, I would like to send a thank you out to Bible Methodist Church on Maple Street in the old Kroger store. They had a dinner tonight for all area first responders. It was fantastic. It was delicious. I have a piece of church lady apple pie waiting for me at home when this meeting's done. So again, thank you to the Bible Methodist Church for opening their doors to all the first responders in the area. With that, Madam President, unless anyone has any questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does anyone in council have questions?
Go ahead, Richard.
Go ahead, Mr. Morgan.
Mr. Mayor, about those leaves, have they contacted Marblehead and Catawba to see what they do with theirs?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's all I wanted.
Actually, there is a gentleman on Catawba that's going to take some of the leaves. So if you see a Port Clinton dump truck full of leaves out of Catawba, that's...
Do they grind them up or just suck them up?
We don't have a tool to grind them up. That was one of the things we talked about.
Because that cuts them down. I mean,
Yeah.
when I mow
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
if I have deep weeds, I mow them twice.
We've-
Because it takes up much less space.
We came up with the idea of maybe dumping them in the field, like the field just outside of City Hall here that the city owns, and running lawnmowers over them. But we're on a lease, and the hour usage, it would just cost.
Does your chipper, would that work?
No, unfortunately, yeah, it's not set up.
And finally, I'd like to remind Mr. Colster, whoever that, the leaves are falling. I am mowing them up, so the sooner the better.
There you go. Thank you.
I have two questions. One, have you changed your mind about Halloween?
No. But I would like
Okay.
to thank the young lady for her efforts. That's very
All right,
much.
and then secondly, I just wanted to ask if there was gonna be any communication regarding, what's on the ballot for the fire department. There seems to be a lot of misinformation flying around on Facebook.
Misinformation on Facebook?
But I mean, I don't think I've seen anything official from the city or from the fire department to explain that, so I'm just curious if there'll be any communication.
The ballot will explain everything.
I don't think it does though. I mean, there's a lot of people on Facebook who thinks that the fire department will only get 21%.
That is incorrect.
I know it's
if you read it correct, it's taking the income tax from 1.5 to 1.9%. That difference, that 0.4%, is the 21.
I
Of
understand
the
that,
whole, yeah.
Mayor. I'm just saying that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and if the fire department really needs that money, I'm a little concerned.
Even though the ballot says it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Most people make up their mind before they read the ballot.
Thank
You guys, Mr. Mayor, I've backed probably 99% of your decisions since I sat at this seat. I can't back the decision though. Trick or treat, unfortunately, you know my grandson, Christian Miller, my grandson.
I knew I recognized you. My bad.
Now you're putting a spot where his grandma can't watch him play for a day. Because she's gonna take one of the grandkids trick or treating Stella. I really wish you'd reconsider and change it to Saturday. I mean, there's a chance for rain Friday.
20% in the morning. I've been watching.
Yeah, I know, but we know how weathermen are. With the guys making playoffs, my God, that'll bring the community together unbelievably. The guys are drawing a huge crowd to away games. And I think it's gonna hurt both sides, both the game and the trick-or-treaters. I don't know.
I blame the
I
coach
just
if you
can't
wouldn't have
back
won
you
so
on
many
this one.
doggone games. No.
Just can't back you on this one. But anyway, that's all, man.
Again, Mr. Trolley, trick or treat isn't necessarily a city function. Yes, we said, hey, this is the date that it's gonna happen.
Right.
The police have extra patrols. Fire department is placed in key areas just in case something stupid happens.
Right.
Turn your light on Thursday night. Turn it on Saturday night. Have at it. Go for it. You know, it's not like the 31st is the only time kids have the opportunity to put on their costume. There've been 6
would-
other events in the greater
It would
Portland
really
area.
help if you would say, let's do trick or treat Saturday evening.
And I agree with Mr. Trolley because there have been multiple events, there's always trunk or treats, you know, I support all of those and I love them. I love the Halloween season. But there's 2 big events for the community. Trick or treat is one, the playoffs is huge and congratulations coach and the team and everybody that put their time and effort into it. But having the community out there, you know, I actually have like 8 people that come to my house and hand out candy because so much community shows up. The neighbors are out, neighbors I don't see through the whole year who might yell at me at Facebook or shoot me a message, but I don't see them in person. I swear, like even taking out the trash, I don't even know if people live in these houses. But on Halloween I do see them. And I think it's possible to have 2 community events. Not everybody's gonna be happy. You know that every decision you make is questioned 50-50. And I would not wanna be you by any means. But we can support the football team Friday night for those who want to. And we can have trick or treat on Saturday for those who want to. And again, there's gonna be disappointment either way. I think some of the parents that can't participate on Halloween night do go to some of the other events, and that's great for them. You know, I work in the hospital, we work a lot. You can't always participate in everything, and there's other opportunities. But Halloween as a community event, you know, moving that and having that message come from you would have some meaning. I think, you know, the kids have spoke up, and I appreciate that, and that takes a lot of bravery to do that so publicly. And I wouldn't want to be the mayor, because again, 50-50, you're not winning. It doesn't matter what you do. But I agree with Mr. Trolley. I would love to see it on Saturday. Mother Nature, it'll probably snow if you move it, probably be a hurricane up here, and you know, be miserable, but I would love to see it on Saturday.
You know, the same, on our side of town, like, it's magical. There's like, last year.
Hundreds.
Like 600.
Yeah, over 600.
You know, and like Beth said, like, it's just a magical night. And, you know, like, I've got my yard all decorated for Halloween, but I'm gonna go see the football game, so maybe I'll just leave the candy in my driveway, but like, you know, it's
Of those
just kind of.
600 kids you get, how many do you think are gonna go to the football game?
It's not the
That's the
kids.
point.
I'm gonna go to the football
Pass
game.
candy out.
And, you know, and I understand what all you're saying, and I'm glad I'm not in this position either, because I don't know the right answer, but I know if I had an event scheduled Saturday night, and now they moved this at the last minute, and now my kids can't trick or treating because they wanted to move it, even though it's been scheduled forever, because people do have things scheduled other than Friday night. And also, would you move it for a volleyball game or a soccer game?
If they're going to state, if it's state.
First of all, it's not state, it is
What do you
playoffs.
mean
So
it's
it's
not
good to
state?
get.
It's a
It's
state
not-
tournament, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, so, okay, what if it's a district tournament for cross country or soccer? Those are all part of the state tournament too. They are part of, I mean, without,
I don't get your
Yeah,
argument. Let's move on.
I agree, there's 2 events about kids. Football is, you know, kids and family. Halloween is kids, family, community. They're 2 community events. You know, sure, people have concerts, other things. There's a million events every weekend. We all participate in them. You know, and something is not gonna be right, but again, community-minded, kid-minded event, I just think we can have 2
I don't know what's
events.
right. I'm just saying there's more than.
I'm glad I'm
one
not the
side of
mayor, but I would like it on Saturday. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Mr. Velo, auditor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Council, before you tonight for its 3rd reading is Resolution 25-7, which is something council passes on an annual basis. We're provided it by the County Budget Commission. It is due back to the county auditor or the Budget Commission later this week, so please consider it to be must pass without change, and all will be well. Nothing new or unusual in the ordinance, but I'm happy to answer any questions when that comes up on the agenda, but please pass that tonight. And that's my report, Madam President. Thank you. Council, good to be with you all.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone on council have any questions for Mr. Velo at this time? Okay, the treasurer is not with us, but the clerk has the numbers.
Revenue report is as of today. So bed tax, we're at $317,801.62. The watercraft tax is at $23,236.50. And the registration fees for short-term rentals, we are at $30,800.
Thank you. Ms. Schenker, law director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. There is the last ordinance that's on here, 30-25. This was asked by the tax commissioner to be prepared. This is basically a clerical ordinance. The tax department in Ohio basically years ago stated that if you are an employer and you have more than 25 employees, you need to file your W-2s and other paperwork electronically to the whatever city municipality you're in. Just recently, that has been changed to if you have 10 or more employees, you need to file electronically. So this has really nothing to do with anyone other than if you're an employee or employer in the city, you just have to file electronically as opposed to by paper. And a lot of people are moving towards electronic filing on a day-to-day basis anyway. And the reason why the tax commissioner requested that this be passed on the second read is we have the next council meeting on November 10th, and on November 23rd, she needs to send out 4,000 letters about the upcoming income tax filing season, and she does not want to send an extra 4,000 letters to then notify about the change for employer filings. So she's trying to be fiscally responsible and have it in one letter to notify the community of what the changes are. This follows the Ohio Revised Code, since it's been changed in the Ohio Revised Code as well. And many municipalities have already passed ordinances very similar to this one, so they could make their jobs more efficient and make the overall income tax season more efficient. She will be here at the next meeting to further explain, but as I stated, it's changing it from 25 to 10. We never had the 25 in our city ordinances, so it would just be 10. But as we are a statutory city, the Ohio Revised Code has it to 10, so we want to be in line with what the Ohio Revised Code wants. I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
Thank you. We'll move on to committee reports. Finance, Mrs. Holmes?
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Environment and Public Works, Mr. Churl?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Safety Services, Ms. Phillips?
Nothing this evening, thank
Thank you. Economic and Community Development, Ms. Gilman?
We'll be meeting directly after this meeting.
Council, thank you. We have no correspondence. We'll move on to readings of ordinance and resolution. Will the clerk please read by title, under third reading, will the clerk please read by title and summary ordinance 26-25?
Ordinance number 26-25, an ordinance vacating a portion of the north-south alley located between lots 4 and 5, block 23 of the original plot of the city of Port Clinton.
Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 26-25?
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to table this ordinance until 4th Street is finished.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I have questions. Is it now the time to ask the questions?
If you would like, yes.
Okay, can I ask those people the questions? I'll ask anybody who wants to.
Well, it's only council discussion, but
Okay, well, a couple things. I don't know how to do this without asking them, but Mr. Machewski,
Yes.
like I said, you said many people use that alley. Is that 1 a day, 50 a day, 300 a day?
That's why I suggested a traffic analysis to get an accurate count on that, council member.
Are they mostly walking or driving?
I've seen both personally, but that's anecdotal. Like I said, I'd like to have a traffic analysis.
Mr. Heck, I know you were on both sides of the alley. When you decided this, did you ask other people?
No.
You just,
No, I was approached by the city that said that they were looking at vacating alleys, and I had a perfect setup for it. And I had actually asked, because of the safety issue, and damage getting done to my house and my vehicles, so.
What damage? I'm sorry.
So as the cars drive extremely quick up my alley, the stones are flying off, hitting my house, hitting my truck, dust, constant on my vehicles. My daughters actually do park next door in the grass, to keep their cars off the road because we do have had accidents on 4th Street from vehicles hitting other vehicles just driving by. So we moved all the cars over there, because at some point, yes, we do want to build a garage of some sort. We've actually had vehicles fly up the alley when my daughters are crossing the alley, and at night it gets dark, so it's a safety issue also. I'm really not trying to deter anybody, being that there's 3 other accesses into that area.
But people go through there. Like a couple of years ago, I was thinking about vacating my alley for a similar reason. And I asked the neighbor across the alley, and he was fine. I asked the people who go use it, who go through my alley. And by the way, my truck is parked 7 inches from the alley, and I never have any stones hit it. So I don't know what happens in your alley. But they accepted it, but they weren't crazy about it, and I decided not to do it. You didn't ask anyone else because you weren't required to, but it seems to me it would have been nice to ask other neighbors who use that, and you did not do that, correct?
I mean, I've had discussions with neighbors, not all of them. I didn't go to everybody. The ones that I have talked to didn't seem too concerned about it. So yeah, I didn't go door to door knocking.
Another question, I think this is for you, Shanker, I'm not sure. If he wants to build a garage or a pole barn on there, he cannot do that on a empty lot, is that correct, by zoning?
On an empty lot, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I know we do have some structures and I'm not sure exactly.
Did you check on that?
I did.
And
you can build a structure as long as it has a living quarters and bathroom.
Okay, so you can't build a barn that doesn't have a bathroom?
Correct.
Okay.
The way it's set up right now, to answer your full question on that, yes. The way it's set up.
My question is, did you try to get a variance on that?
No.
Because we could solve a lot of issues here. If you got a variance, you built what you wanted and kept the alley open for the people who use it.
But that's not going to correct the issue of the damage to my vehicles.
Well, you'll have okay, anyway, so.
I'm just following the ORC.
No, I understand that. I understand that. That's all I have for now.
Mr. Morgan, if I could just legally answer your, this wasn't a question you asked, but I think it should be mentioned. The legal definition for an alley, it means a street or highway intended to provide access to the rear or side of lots or buildings in urban districts and not intended for the purpose of throughway, however you say it, vehicular traffic. So alleys are not meant to be driven in. They are meant for people to access, their garage or access whatever. I know that when Mr. Hatt petitioned the city, I know that Mr. Colson, Mr. Johnson, I believe Mr. Bickley from zoning went out there, looked at the area. They looked, there is plenty of access to all of the surrounding neighbors to get into their homes. A lot of the alleys are stoned and they do damage people's houses. Also, I know we've had complaints about the garbage collecting trucks that come down the alleys because they're damaging the alleys. And also when the city does its snow plowing, the alleys are the absolute last
I know that.
ones to get plowed because they're not meant to be driven through.
Understood.
It's become something of convenience. As the mayor stated, everybody in the city could request to have their alley vacated. It would not offend the Ohio Revised Code. It would not offend the legal definition of an alley. And I understand and appreciate the comments that were made tonight, but this is on a third reading. It's been advertised for 4 weeks already. And this is the only time anyone has come to argue this issue, and the reason I was made aware of this issue is because this began as a neighbor dispute. So I understand the arguments, but we should not, if we're benefiting one neighbor, we should not do it to spite the other and vice versa. Mr. Hatt petitioned the city, he followed the Ohio Revised Code. You do not need to notify, have a public hearing unless there is a dispute between the adjoining properties. He has both sides, so he didn't have to have permission from the adjoining property owner. I mean, we're not gonna do a traffic study in an alley because you're not allowed to drive through alleys. So it's basically, to me, this sounds like a neighbor dispute, and we need to follow, since we are a statutory city, the requirements of the revised code.
Okay, a couple things. First of all, in their defense, I told them tonight would be the best night. So if they didn't come last week, that's not on them, that's on me. I knew we were voting on it, or maybe vote on it today, that's why I told them they would be the best thing. And the other one, never mind.
I guess the only thing I was mentioning about that, the only reason I mentioned that was because it's been published for a month, and there's no
I understand
other
that.
person in the city who came to complain.
No, never mind.
Does anyone else on council have anything? Okay, I have a motion to table this ordinance until 4th Street is completed, which at this point we don't know when that will be, by Mrs. Hovis, seconded by Mrs. King. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Margaret Phillips,
No.
Richard Morgan,
Yes?
Avery Robinson,
No.
Beth Gilman,
I'm going to abstain. Can I say a reason why, Mrs. Slade?
If you would like, but you're not required.
Okay, well, I'm gonna abstain.
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries by a vote of 4 to 1. Ordinance 26-25 is tabled at this point and possibly could go back to a committee or will be brought back on the agenda.
It's 4-2-1.
Oh,
It's 4-2-1.
oh, 4-2, I'm sorry. 4, I had written that. 4 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstain. So this, at this point, this matter is tabled. We'll move on to resolution 25-7. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, resolution 25-7.
Resolution 25-7, resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to resolution 25-7?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley.
make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-7.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. King. Any discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Trolley, second by Mrs. King to adopt resolution 25-7. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Avery Robinson,
Yes.
Richard Morgan,
Yes?
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Resolution 25-7 is hereby adopted. We have no second readings. We'll move on to first readings. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 26-25? I'm sorry, 29-25.
I was like,
See, it's not just me with numbers.
I'm like getting terrified I don't have the right one in front of me. I'm like, okay. Ordinance number 29-25, an ordinance to approve the July 2025 replacement pages to the Port Clinton codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 29-25? Seeing none, this ordinance will be moved to its second reading at the next regular scheduled council meeting on November 10th, 2025. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 30-25?
Ordinance number 30-25, an ordinance amending section 183.051H of the Port Clinton codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 30-25? Seeing none, ordinance 30-25 will be moved to its second reading at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on November 10th, 2025. We'll move on to business from the floor. Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, I have one for the safety service director. It's not here, but I'll pose it anyway. one of the things I love about this town is the beach. One of the things I hate about this town is the beach. There are rocks, stones. The beach by the lighthouse is great. City Beach, for most of it, no. And I understand it's difficult to pull those up. I also have been told that's not a natural phenomenon. Those were dumped there years ago. I don't know if that's true, but that will make a difference. If it's a natural phenomenon, you're never going to get rid of them. If they were dumped there years ago, there's a finite number. I know it's difficult and expensive to have people pick those up with machines and take care of them. And this came to me the other day, and it might be the stupidest decision or idea I've ever had, but I'm going to throw it out there. What if we put 5-gallon buckets on the street, on the beach, and said, when you're walking, if you want to pick these stones up and throw them in 5-gallon buckets, I think people walking the beach would be happy to do that. I don't know, but I think we're wasting a valuable resource by having that beach as it is. It's just, it's difficult to swim there. If you go enough west, you can, but if you're there by the sidewalk, no. And right now, you know, you can see all the way to Ontario, I think, and you know, you could easily pick those up, but I understand to hire people and get all that done. I don't know, does anybody have any information on that?
$115,000.
That's a lot of money, right? Yeah. Would it fix it?
Don't really know, because yes, some of that is the original Perry Street, but some of it is also made of rock. Really don't know how much is what, how far down it goes. The best estimate is $115,000.
That's a lot of money.
We've spent, just so you know, since 2019, we've spent 20.
No, and I know, they've done work on it, so it's not that they're not doing anything, I appreciate that. I wish there was a way to do it without spending $115,000. And, you know, I don't know if buckets would work, but I know if I was walking the beach, I'd carry the 5-gallon bucket. But anyways, that's mine.
Relocate to luxury living.
Well, yeah, you put in a bucket, and then eventually the city would have to take it away, dump it somewhere else. Yes, let's dump it on a different part of the beach.
Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah. Okay, that was my 3.5 cents worth.
Thank you.
And
Mr.
for
Brown.
the record, Madam President,
Yes.
that wasn't the most dumb thing he's come up with.
I want to know what beat it.
Thank you for that clarification.
I thought you were going to say something nice.
Okay, Mr. Robinson? Thank you. Ms. Phillips?
Nothing to say here. We've been looking at that problem on 4th Street, at least through 4 specific meetings. I mean, I think we probably would, there's somewhere along the line there was a loophole and somebody got into it or whatever, and I think that's why we're having this holdup. I lived on, not too far from there. My garage was up the alley, and somebody wanted to close it, and it didn't work because somebody put a house inside the actual square of the block. So this is kind of tricky.
Thank you.
For not having anything to say.
Mrs. Hobus?
I just want to say, I think you're a brave little girl for posting that. And I voted yes to change Halloween. My name was one of the 2 council people on there. I voted yes to change it, just so you know. Thank you for doing that. And that's all.
Okay, Mr. Trolley?
And I would also like to say thank you. I voted to change it. But anyway, that's beside the point. I guess for my own conscience, I need to explain my vote on the motion, if that's okay.
That is your choice, yeah.
I have gone back and forth. Yeah, I agree with the closure. No, I don't. Ever since this ordinance was first read. I've driven down that alley multiple times. I know, Delbert, I know what you want to do and I know what you're saying. Just remember, this wasn't failed, it's just tabled for now. There is, I believe there's a transformer though on that alley. Will there continue to, there has to be a right of way for the electric company through there.
There is.
So-
All public utilities have a right of way so they could go on there. if they
Correct,
fix
so
something.
if the one end is gated shut or closed up, how are we gonna get the electric company through there? Just hypothetical.
I know Mr. Hatt stated that he was not locking that chain link fence, but based on their easement and the right of way, they can go on it however they
Right,
need to,
whatever it takes. You're right, you're
So
right.
they do have priority over that, but once again, that alley is not, any alley in the
Right.
city really isn't meant to be driven on.
If I
But we
could,
know
yeah.
how it is. We,
I'm sorry, Mr. Trolley, the block right across from you, where Zazinski's live, where I
Right.
used to live,
right,
has no alleys, but the utilities
But-
run in the backyard.
right.
There was a transformer that went out right behind 645 Orchard Drive, and they drove between the houses.
Right, that, right behind my house is the same. Yeah, it's, you know, this is my third term on council, and I think this was the hardest decision for me to make. And that's why I agree with the motion, because I don't know, anyway, I feel better about explaining myself. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Good luck, Skins. Good luck, Coach. Doing a heck of a job with them.
Thanks.
Heck of a job.
Mrs. King.
Yeah, I can't wait to go see the football game on Friday, and thank you so much for like putting that together on, you know, I signed it too, but that's all I have to say.
Mrs. Gilman.
I signed the petition too, and it was awfully brave of you, and, you know, everything will work out, there'll be trick-or-treating, there'll be football, next year trick-or-treating will be on a Saturday, because the 31st is a Saturday, so it's still a Saturday Halloween.
Of course, some playoff games aren't Saturdays, so.
Yeah, maybe, maybe they'll change their playoffs, who knows?
he asked me to
That's how
sign.
things work out.
For the
Yeah,
record,
well-
the next time this happens is 2031.
Oh, well, again, glad it's not my decision. The alley was very difficult. I don't see, you know, we've heard from the law director, we saw the legal stuff, there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be vacated. I live in a neighborhood without alleys, there's a lot of neighborhoods without alleys. There's still a T access point to that, you know, I looked at the maps, I've driven by that way, walked by it. It is a very difficult decision, and I understand it. The argument, though, you know, if we're putting one person's private rights, and now we're being asked to put your private rights, you know, it's still the same argument. It's like you said, a neighbor thing, you know, one against the other. I know the city has had some input on alleys in the past. They would be happy to vacate them, get the property tax, whatever the case may be, not get called out on maintaining it, which is not, they're last on the pole for anything that happens. I do drive down the alleys when the streets are flooded, I drive the alleys. I'm concerned about waiting for 4th Street to be done, because I don't know what the status is with some of these projects, especially with the federal freeze and what's going on at a national level. So that concerns me. I hate to put something on hold when Mr. Hatt has done everything he was supposed to do that the city asked him to do. You know, I just have some concerns with that personally. So it was a very hard, as Mr. Trolley said, this might have been one of the hardest things other than issue 6 development, which we all dealt with, some of us dealt with a while ago. Nothing else though. I will be handing out candy at my house on Halloween, and maybe after that I'll make it halftime to the game. I don't know, but there will be candy handed out on Taft Street. It's a great neighborhood for trick or treat. I expect to see a fire truck down there. And good luck to the Port Clinton. This is quite an accomplishment, and it is really good job.
Thank you.
And congratulations to all the kids.
Okay, thank you. And also congratulations and good luck tomorrow night. So, seeing no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Trolley. A motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Trolley to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Thank you.